Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Game Week 3 predictions for the Premier League. Last week I got 6 points, taking me to a total of 10 points. This week we're going to kick off with Chelsea versus Fulham. First up, Chelsea. They played West Ham, beating them 5-1. Now that's the Chelsea we all expected, right? Their performance was great. Not one player had a bad game. As for Fulham, they had decent moments against United, but I feel like it was a very back and forth game. And once again, Fulham get a goal when they sort of seem like they're not going to get a goal. And this time it came from Smith Rowe. Very good run or late run or deep run from him, right, to get a goal and then tie the game. For this matchup, usually Chelsea keep a clean sheet against Fulham and they beat Fulham. Other than the most recent time they faced, they actually lost 2-1 to Fulham. But I think this Chelsea team is just too good. Defensively, they're solid. I feel like they will be beating Fulham here and keeping a clean sheet like they usually do. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Chelsea. Next up is United versus Burnley. So United, in my opinion, played pretty well. They just can't finish the goal. They just can't finish the ball. Cunha had a couple chances. He hit the post. He made it go over the bar, but barely. Bruno and his pen, he should have put that away. They should have won the game. But Bruno missed his pen. Once again, I am saying start Sesko. I feel like strikers don't really need adapting periods. They just have one goal, which is to score. So I'm still waiting on that. It might happen this game week against Burnley at home, right? That would make sense. So moving on to Burnley, another good performance from them. I'm getting pretty surprised. Beating Sunderland 2-0. Those two goals coming from Cullen and Anthony, who assisted each other. And again, defensively solid. This sort of back five system is working out for them. But is it enough to beat United? I don't think so. When Burnley do go to United, they tend to get draws. Like, they do draw sometimes, but I think United have to start getting points. They have to start winning. If not, I think it's going to be wraps for Amorim, like, pretty soon. But I just don't see United not winning this game, right? At Old Trafford against the promoted side. With all the talent they have to win. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to United. Next up is Sunderland versus Brentford. Sunderland, very disappointing game based off of what I saw last week. There was not much going on for them. They couldn't really start an attack or anything dangerous, really. And then they have Ballard, one of their center backs, go down. And then Brentford, they won a game, surprisingly, against Villa. They won 1-0, and that goal came from Dango Atara, who seems to be their Mbeumo replacement, which I do like it. Dango was pretty good at Bournemouth, and a big improvement on defending. Maybe because Villa their shots were whack, but better defending from Brentford. For this matchup, I'm not too sure what to expect. Both teams have had a good game and a bad game so far, right? But I see a little bit more in Sunderland, and it is at the Stadium of Light, so I'm gonna edge it to Sunderland. I'm gonna go for a low scoring 1-0 win to Sunderland. Next up is Spurs versus Bournemouth. Spurs, they beat us. I knew they were gonna get some points, but the 3 points, that's very disappointing for me. Their high press was just unstoppable. They would not get off of us. I think it was a masterclass from Pape Matisar, right? And then Paulinho. Both of those players had good games. The whole team had a good game, really. But who is in charge of them? Thomas Frank. I think Thomas Frank is a genius. I'm saying it again. He is so good at every situation. He knows how to deal with every opponent. He could be Spurs' savior. I think he could be the one to make Spurs an actual threat. And they're going to be facing Bournemouth, who beat Wolves. I have to say, already Bournemouth's back line is already looking great. So I underestimated their ability to, replace the players, which they have already done. And their attack is still there. Fluid attack. Semenyo, Tavernier, great players. Even Nilsson, he's been a solid addition. But I don't think that team is going to be enough to beat Spurs. It is also at Spurs' stadium, so I'm edging it to Spurs. I'm going to say a 3-1 win to Spurs. Next up is Wolves versus Everton. Wolves actually struggled to get anything going against Bournemouth. It wasn't a great game from them, but they did good to not concede after the red card. So I guess that's the plus you can take out of the game. As for Everton, that's more like it. That's the team we expected. A lot more fluid from them. Grealish looks like the old Grealish, right? Where he has more space, he has more freedom, and he got himself 2 assists. But for this matchup, Wolves versus Everton, Wolves usually do score on Everton when they are at home. but I think Everton is just it's just better, right? They have improved while Wolves have worsened. So I'm gonna say a 2-1 win to Everton. Next up is Leeds versus Newcastle. Leeds, terrible game. Where did the pressing go? Against Everton, they were a pressing machine, and then against Arsenal, they just wanted to sit back. I feel like these teams need to start pressing these top teams, because if you just sit back, they're gonna break you down. There's like minimal chance that you'll win if you sit back. Give the game to them, right? Press them. As for Newcastle, they had another classic game against Liverpool. I love Newcastle versus Liverpool games. They did not give up even after Gordon got his red card. What an idiot. I think Gordon's an idiot, right? What the hell was he thinking? He was never going to get the ball. He was just trying to go through Van Dijk. And even after the red card, they still looked like the better team. But it was devastating to see Rio get the goal in the last minute, right? And ended up taking their point. And that's not it for Newcastle. They got three fucking injuries during the game. Tonali, Jolinton, and Shar. So they have those three injuries. They have no striker, and they got a red card. They are going through it. And because of those 5 starting players missing, and the game being at Ellen Road, I think Leeds win here. I'm going to go for a low-scoring 1-0 win to Leeds. Brighton versus City is next. So Brighton, once again, they look solid, but when it comes to finishing the goal, they just can't do it. Welbeck had a pen. He missed it. He had a couple other chances in open play. He missed those. Welbeck, start taking him out the game, right? And put that Greek kid in. I don't know why, but I have high stocks on that kid. I don't even know his name, but I just know he's a baller. And it wasn't just Welbeck. It was a lot of their attackers couldn't finish, mainly because of Pickford. Pickford had a great game. As for City, how do you perform like that after last week against Wolves? I don't get it. Terrible passing. Either we try to play a through ball and the player hasn't run, or we play the ball directly to the player who had already made the run, right? It was bad passing in the final third. Trafford, fucking hell. What the hell is he doing? He had 3 big bozo moments. He's honestly worse than Ederson in his bozo moments. He should have had a red card, kneeing Kudus and getting a handball in the same motion. Giving the ball to Nico Gonzalez when there's a player breathing on his neck. I don't rate Trafford. I don't get why we got him. Get him out the club already. I don't want him. So yeah, it's not looking good for us. But I think it's just Spurs is our bogey team. So I'm putting a lot of the reason why we lost on that. Here against Brighton, I don't think it's going to be much better. I still think we're going to score or concede, right? But I feel like we're going to score as well. I'm going for a 3-2 win to City. I feel like we're going to struggle here, but overall, we're just going to be able to score more. Next up is Forest versus West Ham. Forest ended up getting a draw against Crystal, but honestly, I don't think they deserved anything. They didn't have much going on in the game. It was more majority just Crystal, dominating the ball, dominating the game. But they did get a goal through Hudson-Odoi, and they nearly got the win as well through Igor Jesus, who hit the post. But yeah, it wasn't a good game from Forest. As for West Ham, they gave us false hope. They scored, then conceded, then scored again, but it was disallowed. And then after that, they just capitulated. They're just awful. They don't look like a team. There's like no form of playing. And then again, corners and crosses, I think they conceded 3 from corners and crosses. So yeah, I don't want to see them against Arsenal. They're gonna concede like 7. But yeah, Forest look like they can score even though when they don't deserve it. They dominated against Brentford. I think West Ham's going to struggle here, especially away. I'm going to go ahead and say a 3-0 win to Forest. And now we have Liverpool versus Arsenal. The game, or it should be, the game of the game week. First up, Liverpool. They had not been playing well. Against Bournemouth and Newcastle, they looked like sometimes the second best team. They were against Newcastle. Against Bournemouth, it's a toss-up. But they make the most out of the few chances they do get. They have scored 7 goals, 4 goals in one, and then 3 goals in the other one. So they still score on you. And then Rio, saving them a point against Newcastle. Look out for him. He's going to have a solid career. He's sort of the Max Dowman of, for Arsenal, but for Liverpool, right? And then speaking of Arsenal, they beat Leeds 5-0, and they make it look simple. I don't get how they make it look so simple. They they don't panic. They don't panic on the ball. At least like their defenders, they don't panic. But again, set pieces. I think they got 2 goals off of set pieces. But they did get open play games. Gyökeres got himself a goal. But it wasn't all sweet for Arsenal. They suffered 2 injuries, one for Saka and one for Odegaard. But even if they are down, I feel like they have solid replacements. They can put in Nwaneri or Max Dowman for Saka. I would put them rather than Madueke. And then for Odegaard, they can put Nwaneri there again, or they can put Eze. I think it's most likely going to be Eze. But for this matchup, recently it has ended in draws, and that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for a little bit of a high-scoring draw. I'm going to say a 2-2 draw, because Liverpool have been scoring. They have been scoring a couple goals, right? But Arsenal are defensively solid, and then also Liverpool have been bad defensively, and then Arsenal have been not the best attacking wise. Well, they scored 5 on Leeds, but that's besides the point, right? That's an anomaly. I think a 2-2 sounds right. And then the last game of the game week, we have Villa versus Crystal. So Villa, a whole lot of nothing against Brentford. They had 17 shots. Only 2 were on target. So yeah, Villa are not looking great. Also, they lost Kamara to an injury. As for Crystal, they have lost Eze and have played their first game without Eze, and they looked great. But they did fall off the second half. It was more of a back and forth in the second half. But still, overall, Crystal looked solid. But for this matchup, Villa versus Crystal at Villa Park, Crystal do struggle to get a win, but they do get some draws. And I feel like that's what's going to happen here. I think Villa are going to edge the draw. I feel like Crystal's going to score first, and then Villa come back and get the goal, right? I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. So those are my predictions for Game Week 3. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and peace.